Yo, what's going on YouTube? Zach with IT Career Questions. Today, have a special guest, Dakota. We're doing our CompTIA A Plus study group. I'm really excited to do the second episode of this one. And before we begin, I want to let you guys know that this video is brought to you by Pluralsight. If you guys are looking to get any certifications, there's a link in the description to Pluralsight. You get a free trial, so go check that out. If that's something you're interested in. Otherwise, we're gonna get things started right now. I'm gonna get Dakota on, and we'll get started here. Hopefully pretty quickly. I don't know. Let's see. I hear his kids screaming in the background, which I'm completely okay with. But here we go, Dakota. What's going on, sir? How you
Not
doing, boss?
much. I'm doing good. I'm glad to be back. Sorry about my little ones. It's bedtime. They're all getting ready to go to bed tonight. But
Well, as you know, I'm completely okay with it because I have a bajillion little ones myself.
yeah.
What's
Well,
going on? Redacted, ethical, hacker, hidden for security. That is, I mean, I'm just gonna call this guy redacted.
uh, welcome everyone. I'm glad everyone could join. If you didn't join us last week, we did a plus study group, and we thought it was a good success. So we want to keep on doing it, trying to help everyone get certified here and hopefully learn something today. So I created about a little bit over 10 questions here. Feel free to chime in the chat with your answers, and then a little bit after, right after the presentation, we'll do a little Q&A. Hopefully answer any other questions you might have. So, with that said, let's go and get started. So,
Are you ready to get this party started?
I am ready. How about you? Are you ready?
Yeah, I think so. I'm trying to figure out why why Facebook won't let me
Well, while you
do
figure
this.
that out,
Yeah, go
how
ahead.
about
You
I
can go.
go ahead and start with this first question? So,
Yep.
first question of the night. Which of the following would best describe a platform for components that to build to create a final product? So, which of the following would best describe a platform of components that you would build to create a final product? We have A, PASS, PASS, B, SaaS, C, IaaS, and D, hybrid cloud. So you guys said last time, I felt it was kind of, the questions were a little bit too easy, so I figured I kind of started off a little bit more difficult this week. So we'll give a couple more seconds for everyone who's in the chat to chime in here.
Now is the answer in the question also? Do you hint maybe?
Well,
No.
the hint is what best describes a platform. So there
Like
could
a
be
like a pass?
possibly.
Okay.
So the answer might be in there if you look into it. I see a lot of people chiming in, and doesn't look like no one's really nailed it on this one. So let's go and display the answer. So the answer is PaaS, Platform as a Service. So PaaS stands for Platform as a Service.
We knew that.
Yeah, it's a cloud computing model in which a third-party provider delivers hardware and software tools. That's the key: hardware and software tools. Usually, for those needing an application to develop, to use over the internet. So, like a lot of your application builders, Amazon Web Services, that'd be kind of an example of that. SaaS is a software as a service, so that's strictly a software-based platform service. So, the correct
AWS covers like every
oh yeah,
AAS in existence,
everything
pretty much.
as a service. Yeah, they should just call it as a service.
It's going to be EAAS,
Yeah,
everything as a service.
everything as a service. That's more appropriate.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go on and go to the next question. So, which of the following would not be the best practice to control ESD? And I'm not going to tell you what ESD is if you don't know it.
Oh,
So, which of the following would be the best practice to control ESD?
who can Google ESD the quickest?
Yeah. So, A, touch yourself to the exposed metal computer chassis. B, keep all adapter cards in an anti-static bag. C, use an anti-static pad. Or D, connect an anti-static strap to an electrical ground. So we're looking for which one would not be the best way to control ESD.
Well, I think if I touch the exposed metal and then start touching like the computer, I think that would be a pretty good idea.
That would be a pretty safe bet. I mean,
Yeah.
you're grounding yourself. You're discharging any static electricity you have built up. I think I just kind of gave away what ESD is.
uh,
So I see a lot of questions that coming in, or a lot of answers, I should say, coming in.
Connect an anti-static strap to an electrical ground.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So let's go ahead and reveal it here.
Sounds like you like to get like electrocuted or something.
So obviously D would be the not the best practice. Connecting electric anti-static strap to an electrical ground, that's just a recipe for disaster. I mean, electrocution, that is just not how they're designed. Now, if you use an anti-static strap and connect it to the chassis of the computer, you'd pretty much have the same effect as touching the physical metal chassis and grounding yourself out. You just want to make sure you don't just dissipate any electricity built up within your body from clothing or whatever, static electricity in the air, humidity. So
what I like to do is I like to give the computer like a nice rub down, like on the chassis. I'm like, all right, we're good. I'm gonna touch your components now. Are we okay? Can I touch your components? And
that's
then I
awesome.
go in and I dig in, and
Yeah,
I've never gotten shocked. I've never screwed anything up that way.
I've
So
never, I've never
it's
screwed.
that finesse. You got to
Yeah,
finesse that computer real
yep,
good.
yeah, yep, exactly.
I have never used an anti-static static strap ever.
I I
Just
have not
rub
either.
it, rub it.
I never used a pad. What I always use is if I'm building like a computer from the ground up, I'll use the motherboard box. I'll set the box, the motherboard on the box, and just start connecting my equipment that way. If I even bother going that far, sometimes I'll just put the equipment straight in the case, and then
Right.
obviously I'm touching the case.
The when I worked at the hospital, we had like HP repair techs come in and Dell repair techs come in, and they always brought out their static pad and threw that down. I'm like, are you serious? They're like, yeah, we have to. It's protocol. I'm like, all right,
Yeah,
fair enough. And only a few of them ever wore like the actual strap. I was surprised when I saw that. But
interesting. All right. Well, next question. So, while reviewing your motherboard specifications, you find out it uses a 1155 CPU socket. Which manufacturer CPU can you use? A. Intel, B. AMD, C. Citrix, or D. IBM?
ooh,
So,
hmm,
1155 CPU socket.
hmm. I
Get your
think
answers in.
I think it's Intel, but I'm thinking. I was just looking up CPUs the other day.
Just remember, AMD is the complete opposite of Intel.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah. So yeah, 1155. Because AMD is the yeah
that might help. Yeah.
yeah.
So,
But I was
Intel
thinking
is the
because
correct.
the sockets that I was looking at were different, were numbered differently still.
So, like, I have an AMD based system and it uses a FX3 plus processor. So, your AMD processors typically always start with a letter and odd numbering. I do believe is the correct answer there. But, you know, your Intel sockets are always a number. And it's always the build of the socket. So,
Noted.
all righty. Looks like we got quite a few people chiming in there. Just chiming in, we're doing our A plus study group this week again, and we're about halfway through it. So if you missed the first half, feel free to watch the replay and follow up on the other questions, and we'll just
Already
keep this ball
halfway
going.
through. You need like more questions then.
I'm not quite halfway through, but we're getting there. We're getting there. So, all right. Well, our next one. Which of these files does the NTLDR read to present the OS selection during or OS selection screen along with the faults during boot up? So, which of these files does the NTLDR read to present the OS selection screen along with the faults during boot up? Here are your answers. on the screen, or here are your choices, I should say: boot.ini, bootsec.imi, ntsys.ini, or bootsys.ini. So which one of the following does the NTLDR read?
What's the NTDLR Lord of the Rings? Right there.
Lord of the Rings, yes. This is a Windows-based question. There's a little bit of a hint. An older Windows operating system that I hope no one is really using anymore.
So wait, you're telling me like this is a question from an old operating system?
An older operating system.
From an older operating system, and it's still on the A+?
It is.
That's just terrible. It's a good thing that there's a new A+ coming out soon.
There is. So let's go ahead and reveal. So this is the boot INI. So the NT originally stood for Windows NT loader, but they actually used this system all the way up until Windows XP. So I actually, and Server 2003. That is why it is still on the A+. So
Server 2003. There's still companies out there using Server 2003.
Exactly.
Because they have to.
Yep.
And it's terrible because there's so many mission critical systems that are running on all this legacy stuff now at this point, and a lot of this stuff is I've noticed like different like controls and things like that, and a lot of these companies like don't even exist anymore, so they don't put out updates that would be supported on a newer operating system. But there are still companies around that support this legacy software, so they still make it run, they still make it work, and it still exists. That's terrible.
Like I said, I kind of wanted to dive a little bit deeper into the A+, maybe come up with a little bit harder questions this week. Hopefully everyone will learn something from it. So, all right, a little bit easier here. What kind of connector does an analog modem use? So your possible answers are on the screen. What kind of connector does an analog modem use?
It's not A.
It's an RJ45, B,
Sorry.
BNC, C, RJ11, or D, ST fiber.
Can anybody tell me what RJ45 is? That's what I want to know. That's my question. Yeah. Let's hold off on it. What's RJ45? What is going on, Dana, the tech teacher? How are you doing, sir? Dana, the tech teacher, is a great, valuable resource right there. I love that guy.
Awesome.
It's too bad that he moved away to the Utah to pursue better, much better things. Very happy for you, by the way, Dana.
Phone cord, that's not up there. Or is it?
Is it?
I don't think CompTIA would accept that answer though. They would want to know what type of connector.
Oh, you can say it. We can say it. Yeah. So Dana, the tech teacher, works at Test Out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's from this area. Well, he lived in the same town I did for a long while, and he taught the pewters out here. He'll get mad that I said that, probably, but that's okay. But yeah, now he just moved to Utah a year ago now to go work for Test Out. So very happy for him because that's a pretty sweet gig. And Utah, he's always posting pictures and stuff of Utah, and I'm like so jealous because it looks amazing out there.
I'm kind of bummed out. No one said what an RJ45 connector is.
I know. Here, I'm gonna put it in the chat. Right. Anyone tell me what N? Sorry, I talk to myself while I type.
We'll wait a couple more minutes and reveal the answer here. I see quite a few answers.
Ah, Dana, the tech teacher, come on, bro. It's not fair.
Someone else chimed in.
Yeah, they did. Cat 5. There we go. Perfect. So there's one answer, but there's more than one way to answer that question.
Correct. So the answer obviously is an RJ11, which is type of connector you typically see on your phone line. So
What's
phone lines
the
are
what's the
involved.
DSL one?
DSL.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be an RJ11 as well. You come DSL
Yep.
transfers over a phone line. Oh, was that supposed to be for everyone else, or was that supposed to be for me?
You could answer it too. It's fine.
Oh, okay. All right.
Cool.
Next question. Which of these would be a common impact printer maintenance task? I thought it was so interesting that printers were actually on the A plus exam. I mean, the A plus exam really ensures you have a really well-rounded skill set to enter the IT field. But so
If
which of the
someone were to ask me, "Hey Zach, what is your least favorite thing about IT, or what do you hate the most about IT?" Well, I think there's like it's two things, but they relate so much to each other that they're just the worst ever. But that would be printing and faxing,
oh,
hands down, the two
people
worst
still
things
fax?
ever. And you as an IT department have to support that,
I know.
99.9% of the time. That's freaking terrible.
I'm deploying new printers at all of our properties currently, and it's actually not bad. I like deploying new printers because they typically work out of the box. They work and then break a couple years later.
Yeah,
So, all right.
yeah.
Well, I'm not going to even read off the answers because I see people already chiming in with the answers. So let's go ahead and just reveal it. So the answer is C, replace the print head. So an impact printer obviously has a mechanical head that strikes a ribbon that imprints your text on the actual paper. So that's the most common maintenance area. Replace the toner, that'd be a laser printer, diffuser, laser printer. Heating element was isopropyl alcohol. That kind of sounds a little dangerous there. Heat and rubbing alcohol, but sure there's probably way better ways to clean the heating elements in a printer. All right. Which of the which of these security features can track your computer if it is stolen?
Ooh, this one sounds fun. This is really on the A plus. That's crazy.
This is really on the A plus. It is actually.
Wow.
So A local security policy. B find my laptop. C
Is that the same as
LoJack.
Find My iPhone?
I think it's supposed to be a Windows knockoff on
Mm.
that. C LoJack for laptops. D Windows Security Center, or E Windows Tracker. I see a mix of answers.
Is there more than one answer?
Um, for no, there's actually only one correct answer on this one.
Okay.
I had to actually research that too.
All right, I'll ask the question. I'll ask the question when you
Okay,
reveal the answer.
let's go ahead and reveal it then. I see a large variety of answers here.
Yeah, let's see.
So the answer is C, LoJack.
Yeah.
So I do believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Zach, but I do believe LoJack actually started in the computer industry with laptops. They actually created the LoJack chip that's built in, integrated into the motherboard. So
Low Zach. That's right. That's what's up. Yeah, I think that's where they started. I mean, I'm pretty sure. I know it's been around forever,
been around
but I
forever, and they
wonder like it's just I don't know. It's crazy to me. I wonder if like LoJack paid like CompTIA to make sure that was on his desk or something.
I don't. You don't see computers with LoJack anymore. Find My Laptop. Actually, I created that up. Knockoff of Find My iPhone type of thing.
Right.
Local security policy that has nothing to do with your laptop's geographical location. Windows Security Center, that's more of your antivirus firewall protection. Windows Tracker, made that one up again. So
Can anybody tell me what would be a standard kind of that could be used nowadays? I guess it would be more of the technology that you could find that would be able to do this, right? Track your laptop if it was stolen. Specifically your laptop. It's something that I do, like on a weekly basis, that I've talked about.
I do it too.
Oh, yes, you do. You do that.
I do with mainly iPads. We have deployments on computers. It's almost a job. It really is a job field in itself. Someone can strictly do this for a living.
That's what I'm doing right now.
Exactly, right?
Yeah, it's a great time. Not really. We
Yeah, it
only
doesn't.
we only have it on mobile devices though.
Yeah.
And Dana
Dana.
Dana the tech teacher came in with the answer,
Yep. MDM, mobile
and
device management software.
I just said it
Yeah.
too, kind of
Yeah.
almost.
Exactly. Pretty much. All
But
right.
laptops, a lot of laptops or companies that are using like BitLocker and things like that. We were using Sophos to encrypt our laptops, and then Sophos did some stupid stuff and broke all the encryption on all our laptops. So occasionally, like when these things would restart, it would come to the BitLocker screen, and the key was broken, so you couldn't log into the laptop. So you had to re-image it, and then we started using BitLocker, and everything's been golden since then.
Nice. Nice.
Anyway, you can go. You can go on now.
Oh no, Ron. I use Meraki at yeah. I use Meraki too. That's what I use. I use Meraki MDM. Uh, we are very heavy using we're very heavy using Meraki product line. We pretty much except for the voice. We haven't explored Meraki voice yet, but cameras to access points, security firewalls, switches, and MDM. So
I used Meraki like 6, 7 years ago.
yeah,
It had to be like when it first came out for iPads and stuff like that.
yeah. All righty. So let's carry on to the next question. Which of these characteristics are most associated with a plasma display?
Really?
Plasma.
Plasma. Gosh, when was
Um,
it? Dana, the tech teacher, you should know this off the top of your head. When was this A plus, the 901 and 902? When did they make that?
it should have been 3 years ago.
So I wonder how long it takes them to put together a uh, like one of these exams. That's what I
A,
would be curious
really?
about.
A vacuum tube, an electron gun, and a plasma TV.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Why not? What's wrong with that? Why are you hating?
I'm not hating.
I'm just kidding.
Plasmas are great. I love plasma TVs. I got one in my bedroom. It was my living room TV until I decided to upgrade to something bigger.
I just bought a new TV. Like it's super cheap, 60-inch 4K TV,
Nice.
but it has like Roku built into it or whatever. So I was like, heck yeah, I'll take it.
Uh,
It's easy
I,
peasy.
I got a 65. You know, I can have settled with a 60.
Whatever. Not balling like you.
uh, Testouts releasing the new prep software January 1st. Sweet.
Yeah, the new CompTIA comes out next
Yeah.
beginning of next year, I think.
Yeah, I do
So
believe like January 1st. All right, so let's go ahead and reveal it. So obviously the answer should be D, very fast response time. A plasma TV doesn't have a vacuum tube or an electron gun. That would be your old school CRT tube TVs. Uh, Plasma screen must be air cooled after used. It might seem like that sometimes because plasma TVs do generate a lot of heat, but it's not a must. Um, Uses LED backlight instead of fluorescent. That would be an LED TV. That's why they're called LEDs, because they use an LED backlit display. So the correct answer is D, a very fast response time. And for a bonus question,
uh-oh.
what unit of measurement is used to measure the refresh rate?
Ooh.
Should be pretty easy. I mean, a lot of people know that one. But what unit of measurement is used to measure the refresh rate?
We'll come back to that one real quick because Jorge here said what to expect from the update on the new A plus,
Ooh,
which I think Dana could probably answer that better than I can. But I remember from what I read, they were going to have some more security type elements in there, and then even more mobile device type of elements in there as well. And then I think they are removing a lot of the older legacy stuff. So I wouldn't imagine you would see something like this question on there, for instance.
right. But this exam is the 901, the 901 and 902 exams are available until probably I think June next year. So if people are still out there taking it, like myself, I'm gonna go take the 902 here in a couple weeks. You know, still stuff relevant stuff to study.
Yeah. Oh, and then Dana, yeah, said lots of new IoT things, of course.
Oh yeah,
Of course. That's for the new exam, not for the 901 and the 902. But anyway,
exactly.
bonus question was, what unit of measurement is used to measure refresh rate?
The answer is hertz. It is measured in hertz.
Still dial-up stuff on there? You got to be kidding me. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
I
On
do
the
believe. Yeah.
on the new exam, he's saying there's dial-up stuff.
Oh, on the new exam, what? Who uses dial-up anymore? I mean, I guess maybe as a failover.
Who's going to use that as a failover? That sounds terrible.
Alrighty. So, what type of connector is this?
Ooh, I know.
If you know it, you can put it in the chat.
Oh, I can.
Or you just shout it out and tell everyone. What
It's
type of connector is this? I don't know if maybe my chat's frozen. I don't see anyone chiming in yet.
I don't see anybody either. Somebody said that the exam objectives were on Reddit.
Oh, really? Yeah, I did see the 10 pin. I did see the exam objectives on the Reddit. See that?
Seda. Yeah, nice.
All right, all right, all right. There's a 24 pin motherboard connector. So it's your typical connector you'll see powering your main power into your motherboard. There we go.
Oh, this is cool. I need to make this one of my favorites, and I will make a bit.ly link of this real quick for the exam objectives.
Should I just keep going, Zach?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, cool. A little bit more difficult one. Which of these would best describe a ZIF socket? ZIF.
A
Again,
ZIF
like I said,
socket?
yeah. This kind of goes back to the beginning when we were talking about CPUs. That's the kind of help I'll give you. We're talking about a CPU socket here. Extra points if you can say what ZIF stands for.
Zach is fantastic. Boom. I win.
Wow, everyone knows this one here. All right, it is B. Does not require any pressure to install the processor. Zero insertion force. Yep.
How many of you Googled that? Dana, you don't count.
Looks like quite a few people though. Nice. All right. I do believe this is my actual last question of the night. Then after this, we'll kind of open up for some AMA. So, uh, which of these would you be most likely to use a loopback plug?
Ooh, a loop back plug.
So we talked about loopback plugs last week. And I just figured I'd kind of bring it back in there. Which of these would you most likely use a loopback plug for? A. Tapping network traffic for packet capture. B. Forward traffic from a subnet to an internet link. C. Boot a USB connected DVD ROM device. Or D. Verify the operation of a network interface. Figure this might be a little easy, but some people still don't know what a loopback plug is on. It's definitely something to know for the exam.
what's the worst part of writing course material, Dana? You can go on. Sorry.
Oh, that's all good. So everyone's looks like they got it. The answer is D, verifying the operation of a network interface. Awesome.
Good deal. So yeah, I really want to know what Dana said here. What the worst part of writing course material? Because he he said he's working on writing a course right now
Nice.
for this. When you were working on the new server stuff, the stuff you had to write about and explain does not exist on Google.
That's awesome. All right.
Pen test is going to be next. Somebody's asking what a loopback plug is.
Loopback plug. It verifies the operation of an interface, network interface. Let's see if I can pull up a picture of it here.
Yeah, you should be able to. So much new stuff, so little stuff on Google. I'm going to be looking at the Pen Test Plus, I think, soon here. I know last week I announced something um, a little early, but I could talk about it again. We're going to be doing a Security Plus study group coming up here soon, and I think it's going to be towards the end of next month, I believe. I know on like the 15th or something, I got some things scheduled out for the Security Plus that I need to do. But it's gonna be really exciting news. Like once I like officially announce it and talk about it like in its entirety. But the fun thing about it is like I really want the study group to be more involved and go along the process with me. So go along with like uh, the courses that I'm going to take, and then hopefully we'll all get Security Plus certified. There's more news coming with that. So yes, I am being like a little bit vague on taking the course with me and all that. So as soon as I get the go ahead that I can talk about it completely, I'll give you all the details. But there will be a Security Plus study group, which again I'm super stoked about. And then after that, plan on going for some other stuff too. But the Security Plus will be the very first certification that I get. It's pretty exciting. And I'm sure you're looking to talk now about your loopback plug. So
Oh,
go
no,
ahead.
it's all good. So here's a picture of an Ethernet loopback plug. It just takes the transmits signal and transfers it back over to the receive side receiving side. So that is a RJ45 loopback plug, and then here is a a fiber loopback plug here.
Looks like a Google Calendar. I like it.
It is.
Perfect.
There we go.
That's
No.
the same thing.
Yeah. There we go. Doesn't want to
Mm.
cooperate. So there's a fiber loopback plug for you. It kind of gives you a little bit better idea.
If you ever go into a switch room or like a networking closet or anything like that, or server room typically, and you see
You'll
that,
see
now you know what it is.
you'll see a bunch of those. I'm probably pretty sure you'll see some sitting around. So, but that is, I believe, all I had today for the questions. So I hope everyone enjoyed it. Let's see. Yep.
Dang, look at them Jeeps. Let me see. What do I got here? Can you go to your full camera?
Full camera.
Yep. I have to adjust this here.
Sorry about that.
There we go.
So yeah, anyone's got any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. For my any questions for myself or Zach, yeah,
If you have any questions for Zach, Dakota will answer them for me. Just kidding.
Why would you use a loopback device instead of a command prompt to test the physical port?
Yeah, so the loopback device is more of a you're on that physical layer rather than, I guess, what would the command prompt be?
That could be another question.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah,
Anyone
you are
know?
physically going to be using a loopback device.
Yeah,
The question, so on the new exam, the questions are going to be more into like a three-part question, meaning 3 sentences. Do you have an example, Dana, that you can give us? So yeah, same with like device manager. Device managers, I wish I could tell you exactly how that would work on the like a layer aspect. But yeah, so device manager, command prompt, you're doing that all from your computer, right? You're doing that digitally. You're typing in commands, or you're going through the process on the computer. Where the loopback device, you're physically going to walk up to the switch and you're going to use that to assist you.
more like Microsoft questions. Interesting.
Danny Love says they have A plus and Security plus, Net plus 2. They're still looking for a job. So apply for everything. It's the best advice I can give you.
Absolutely.
Doug Wright. So Doug Wright asks, do I stop working on the 901 section on Udemy if you're 70% done and the new exams are coming out early next year? You don't have to. If you feel like you're going to be able to pass the 901, and the 902, then go take it. There's nothing,
Absolutely.
nothing really that's going to be that detrimental to you.
It all
So,
depends on your learning speed. If you feel like you can learn the material well enough to pass the exam, go for it, because you have until I think about June. Sometime in June is when they will retire the 901 series, and the 901 is just as good of a certificate as the 10 series certificate. It's still an A plus. Every employer will still take it the same. So, I mean, why wait to go get certified? Is my thing. So.
right. So plus, like if you wait for the new certification, then there are things that are going to be on there that you're going to have to study for anyway. So I would imagine a lot of the training platforms aren't going to probably break everything down into the newer sections. Um, I bet Professor Messer probably would. He'd probably be the only one that really breaks it down and like, here's the new stuff that you're going to find on the exam. Where some of the other training platforms will probably be like, go through our entire course, and inside of this entire course, you'll find some of the new stuff. But we're not going to, cherry pick it out for you.
Right, and a lot of the, depending on what platform you're using, they probably won't have the new content out right away either. Some of them
I
won't.
think a lot of them will.
Yeah,
Like Dana said, right, Dana, that you guys should have something new out fairly
new
quickly.
out by the first of the year. But
Yeah.
like
So
Udemy, they might not. Some of the not necessarily big name in the industry. Just got to the gym when you saw this. Well, I guess you can watch this while you work out. That's what I always used to do, is watch YouTube videos.
man, I would hate listening to my dumb face while I was working out. I'd be so annoyed. Mm-mm. It has to be music. I cannot, like, it has to be like really fast, hard music when I work out, or else I'll be so bummed. Who wants to listen to a nerd talk while they're like doing cardio? Not me.
Maybe you're really passionate about the IT field, right?
I would say I'm pretty passionate about the IT field. I
not,
still
not that passionate,
I could not
not
do
that
that.
hardcore.
Yeah. No thanks. Dubstep in reverse. Yeah, something like that. Would it just be all
uh,
like zeros and ones then at that point?
do you guys recommend a good study site other than going to an actual class? There is so many out there.
Yeah, there's a link in the description for Pluralsight,
Yeah,
but there's also
Pluralsight.
yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
You can go ahead with them.
Oh, yeah, I was just gonna say there's Pluralsight, there's IT Pro TV, there's CompTIA, Test Out. I mean, you name it. CBT Nuggets. Yeah,
Skillsoft.
Skillsoft.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, they're all really good. I mean, the
They're
thing
all
that I
really
could
good.
tell you, the best advice that I can tell you, because there are so many different training platforms out there, and just about all of them offer some type of free trial, is join and start their free trial, and do that for all of them and see which one you like the most, because every single one of them delivers content differently from one another. They all have different hosts, so finding that person that you can relate to the most, or finding that content the way that it's delivered to you, that you're going to enjoy and really grasp the best, that's what you need to do. um, and then, just as Dana just said, as I'm looking in the chat, use multiple, because one resource is almost never going to be enough to go through some of these different exams that are out there and to really learn some of the technology, fully. And it's not because these training platforms leave things out. I mean, some of them might leave a thing or two out, and another platform might pick up, on whatever was left out. um, but just having those multiple resources, and reassuring, and putting all that information into your head from one place to another, it always helps. So even like picking up a book, for instance, if that's something that you can do, pick up a book, read about it, watch a video about it, go through some of the different things that are talking about, buying, like, specifically for the A plus, you could buy old computer, go through the components, as you're watching some of these videos, and you can see for yourself where these components exists, and then have maybe a better idea on the things that they're talking about. But then you can also pick up a book and do the same thing, essentially. So it's all about finding that the best way for you to learn.
I
Dakota.
like your idea there about picking up a used computer, like an old used computer you don't care about that you could tear into. Go down to Goodwill or something and put your hands on some physical components, and without having to worry about breaking something. I'm a huge hands-on learner, and for like what I studied, I originally used CBT Nuggets, and I like CBT Nuggets a lot. But then I decided to go completely through all the videos Professor Messer offers, and there's just the difference in the way things are explained made just some things that weren't quite clicking just were like, oh wow, yeah, now I understand. So that's you know
Well, it's funny that you say that. It's funny that you bring that up, because when I was like hardcore studying into the CSENT, I was watching IT Pro TV's videos. Right, they were great, had no problems, except for when we started getting into subnetting. Like, they explained subnetting. I went over this subnetting section of this video at least three times, and I still, like, just didn't, I could not grasp it fully. It just was not clicking with me all the way. And then my good friend, I was talking to Dwan Lightfoot, who a lot of people know who Dwan is. I was
yeah.
telling him, like, man, I'm having a hard time dealing with this, man. Like, I can't figure it out. And he's a network engineer now, but he's like, dude, I got a video on subnetting. It's called Subnetting Like a Boss. And he sent it to me, and I watched it, and I was like, oh wow, I actually get this. I actually understand this now. Like, the way that he described it, the way that he was teaching it to me, I totally got it, and it was like the greatest feeling in the whole wide world. And I'm like, but that just reassures the fact that sometimes you need another resource, even if you think you found the absolute best resource that's out there, and you're paying top dollar for it. Does not necessarily always mean that it's going to be the most valuable all the time. Yeah, it's going to have a lot of value, but still, following that up with another resource is going to be even more valuable to you in your learning process.
Absolutely. All right, man, the
uh,
chat's been going crazy.
yeah, Eric asked if we ever have a Security Plus review session. He's taking that in about 2 weeks from now. So in about 2 weeks, I'm hoping in about 2 weeks that I'll be able to officially announce the Security Plus study group that I'll be doing. There's a lot of news that comes around that, and there's a lot of things I can't really talk about yet. But I can tell you that there will be a Security Plus study group coming up. Um, maybe 2 weeks at the least, but it's probably well, it'd actually be 3 weeks. Sorry, I'm thinking that it's like the end of this month. It'd be the middle of November. So yeah, nothing right now, but soon. Steve-O said that reading books are a no-go for me. I completely agree with you because I cannot read books. Like I just cannot do it. I have to be physically into it, observing something to be engaged enough in something to learn it. Like reading, just I can read in like short little bursts, and if I were to do that with like an A+ book or something like that, it would take me ages to get through it all.
Yeah, my favorite way of learning is watching it done. Watching someone do it and then turn around and go do it myself. That just resets it in my brain there. So.
So Blue Jay says in December they'll have 2 test out certs, the PC Pro and the Desktop Pro, and plan to get their A+ soon after with some college behind you. Do you think you could land your first IT job with those? Yes, absolutely, 100%. Dakota, can you
Landing
tell us
out
what you got, how you landed your first IT job? What certifications did you have when you
0.
got your first IT job? And how many degrees did you have?
0.
Oh, okay. How
I
much experience did you have when you got your first IT job?
very little,
Very
very
little.
very very little. A lot of it was my own experience. I've self taught myself.
There you go.
Yep. No certs, no degree, no on the job experience. And I landed a really nice help desk job. Um,
You get
yeah,
to travel everywhere. So
I know.
fancy, riding in aeroplanes. Man.
Today I just got back from Spokane, Washington. The week before I was in Boise, going back up to Spokane in 2 weeks.
So
Down to
did you like smoke a lot of reefer and then go and eat a lot of potatoes? Is
no,
that how that
no,
works?
no. It was the
Oh.
other way around. The other way around.
Ah, okay.
No, no,
Okay. Because you
none of
said you went
that.
to
No.
you were at oh wait, no, you said the week
Yeah,
before you were in Idaho. Yep.
Idaho, then Washington. So
Gotcha. All right.
I don't have to go to Washington. That's legal in my state here in Oregon. So
Well, yeah, that's right.
yeah.
Well, all these
So,
fancy states legalizing the marijuana. Oh, I
but
saw
no,
Canada. I read this thing today because Canada just legalized it for the entire country, and within like 4 days or 5 days or whatever of being legalized, this company uh, made like $1.3 million or something.
oh gosh,
It's like, oh my
oh
gosh,
my
how
gosh,
much reefer is that?
that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Canadian weed.
it's nuts.
uh,
Let's see.
yeah, I mean, just go out there and go out and apply. Focus on your personal skills too, your soft skills. Those play a lot in the industry nowadays. Gone are the days of the basement IT guy, dark, damp room with the smell of pizza. You got to be a people person if you want to get in this field now.
Yeah, but the IT department still gets stuck in the basement all the time.
I'm on the second floor.
You got a window?
I got a window.
Oh my god, you're the luckiest person I know. I think almost every IT job I had, we did not have a window. It's the most depressing thing in the world.
Oh
I'm gonna
gosh.
stick you in the dungeon.
Oh,
All
I,
right. Ryan May says, "Is it required to have a good understanding of networking before considering security? I think it's a good idea to have an understanding of networking, no matter what you're doing in this field. Um, so I would say yes,
yeah, I'd agree with that. You know, anything in this field, you should have at least some good fundamentals under in networking.
for sure." RXM98 said, "What about virtual labs? You'd be interested in something like that? You'd be interested in me talking about virtual labs or going over virtual labs and things like that because that should be coming up soon. Also,
I was gonna say, what kind of virtual labs are we talking? A+, security plus?
that
You
too.
know,
Red Sox wins. I don't watch baseball. I'm sorry. Timasso just passed Network Plus and Security Plus last week. Congratulations. That's awesome. That's
that's
super
awesome.
awesome. And then Dana says more and more we are seeing job ads that are listing the test out certs as a substitute for the CompTIA exams. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
And then Stevo says no certs, no degree when they got their job as well.
Nice. It is possible. You just have to work a lot harder to get that job.
Yep.
So
Oh, for sure. Let's see. Eamon says, tried to build my own IT lab. You bought refurbished server and planning to buy network devices to start discover the IT world. That's a great idea. I
That's great.
definitely encourage that. That's awesome. And
Or,
Sid17 says, greetings from the land of maple syrup. Shouldn't it be like greetings from the land of like the reefer syrup now? Let's see. This person, A Maddie, when will CompTIA update the A plus cert? Should you wait since the current version has been out for a while? It. I mean, are you just getting started on your training path towards the CompTIA certs right now? Because the new CompTIA certs come out in January, so in like
yeah,
what 2 months really? So it'll be
yeah.
right around the corner.
If you haven't started at all, I mean, you can start kind of getting some of the fundamentals. Just depends on how much experience you have, really. I mean, if you already started, go for it. I mean, if you think you can get it done in time, but it's really up to think if you can get it done. Right.
Let's see. Steve-O just got passed on a job that you interviewed for on Friday. Friday, the hiring manager did a role playing thing, and one of the times he said he was having a bad day, and I didn't address that, so you didn't get it. That's crazy. But I
That is
mean,
crazy.
like that's one of the things that like I kind of talk about and kind of address sometimes is that customer service and empathy. Empathy is so huge when you're dealing with end users. I mean, empathy can get you very, very far, especially when somebody is having a bad day or bad time with their technology, and you can empathize with them. You'll seal the deal right there. No matter how mad they are, if you can try to empathize with them in some way, like, oh yeah, they'll be yelling at you like, this computer sucks, it just crashed on me, lost my Word document, blah 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 blah, and you just come up and like, yeah, this computer does suck. I'm so sorry that it's happened to you. I'm trying to get it fixed as soon as I can, but yeah, sometimes technology is just terrible, you know, something like that.
Uh, let's see.
Let's see. If you take your 901 exam in December, will it carry over? What do you mean about like to carry over exactly?
So if you take your 901 in December, you have until June to take your 902 and get your A plus. You can't go take your 901 and then your 1002. So your 901 doesn't translate into the 10 series exams.
There you go. You knew what he was asking.
Yeah. But yeah, if you and I see later on he asked if they scheduled it in December, should he reschedule it? I wouldn't. I mean, if you want to reschedule it sooner and if you think you have the knowledge to take it sooner, that's what I'd do personally. If you for some reason can't take it till December, take it in December and just keep in mind though that you need to get your 902. You need to pass your 902 before January, June. Excuse me, June.
Steve said he said if he would have addressed it, he would have gotten the job, paid $4 more an hour. Man. Well, next
Uh,
time you know what to look out for.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing is all as you're interviewing for either your next position or your entry level position, even if you don't get the job, you're still taking away. You took away that little piece of knowledge from that interview, and you'll use that on your next interview. So that's why you should just go out and apply for any job that you're interested in because you'll still learn something from the interview process.
SJS USA says, "What are the requirements of education in order to start the CompTIA Plus?" I wouldn't say there are any requirements specifically, but having some fundamental knowledge of just computer systems in general would be a great idea. Otherwise, I think the A Plus can really, if you really study hard for it and study like all the time, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say there's requirements. I guess they could say that the going through the IT fundamentals from CompTIA would be not necessarily a requirement, but suggested.
Well, yeah, suggested, possibly recommended, but I mean, if you already have that knowledge,
A Maddie, I don't know of anywhere that that would have study material for the new A plus out right now at this point in time. I don't think anybody does.
no.
They do have exam objectives out, which I'll put the link to in the chat. And then Dana says that his A plus is from the year 2000 and it's still current. That's crazy. In the year 2000, you would have had to have been studying like IRQs, and now I don't. Are there any IRQs on the new A plus? Like the one that you
Uh,
probably not. I'm gonna take that as a
yeah,
no. No IRQs. It's crazy.
I'm good at floppies.
Sid 17. That is a great question. I would definitely contact CompTIA on that one. Sid asked if you already booked your 901 and 902 for next April. Can you cancel them and apply the vouchers towards the 1000 and 1002? Um, so yeah, I would definitely contact CompTIA and ask them. And then Dana says, yeah, there's no training out for new exams.
Yeah.
And then the new exams, there's no questions about IRQs. But in 2000, there was questions about IRQs, right? Man, I can't stop coughing. Yeah, so yeah, definitely 2000. I would imagine. Crazy. In the year 2000, I think Conan does a skit on that. Does he still do that? Does anybody still watch Conan? Late
It's
night with Conan? I don't know.
been a while. I've caught little bits and pieces there.
I don't even watch TV anymore. So one thing I can talk about real quick. I got this bad boy in yesterday. This is from EC Council. It's a storm device. We unzip this fancy little thing here. This is it comes with this crazy little keyboard. That it's so cute and tiny. But this is from EC Council. It's called their Storm um, Mobile Security Toolkit, and all it is a Raspberry Pi. There you go, Raspberry Pi with a sweet little touchscreen and a keyboard that plugs in. It's running a custom version of Kali Linux, and it's pretty sweet. There, I'll plug it in. You could watch it do its little boot thing. It just plugs in with a micro USB and boots right up. It's so cool.
That's awesome.
Someone has Ricola. I wish I had some Ricola. Ricola. Those were the best commercials back in the day. SGS, you are amazing people. Love all you. Thank you for the help with all this amazing information that you're sharing with the people. Thank you so much. You are so very welcome. That's what we're here for. So we're here to help. Dakota, do you wanna mention something about what we talked about? What we're talking about doing, or no?
Sure, go
I don't know why
ahead.
this thing just rebooted.
Well, why don't you go ahead and bring it up?
You want me to bring it up?
Yeah, why don't you bring it up? I want to make sure we're on the same page of what you're talking about. I don't want to spill any beans.
We're on the same page if that's the case. You can talk about it if you want, unless I could talk about it. That's fine.
Yeah, go ahead and bring it up.
All right, so
I'll let you.
this is exciting news. That's something new that'll be happening. I don't want to say how soon because I'm not entirely sure how soon. Dakota can maybe better answer that, but he doesn't have to answer that right now. But Dakota will be joining the IT Career Questions team and doing a channel for us here, and it'll be centered more around help desk type of videos, but more or less talking about, this is how you get into the help desk, this is what you do once you're in the help desk, and then this is how you advance past the help desk. So we'll be coming out with a new channel where Dakota here will be starring in that. And then you'll see my face. You'll also see Larry on there occasionally as well, if you guys are familiar with Larry and the help desk series over there. But yeah, so that's really exciting. I really appreciate it. I'm super pumped up about it. And I
I'm
guess we can't
stoked.
give too many details on it right now because we're still working out a lot of the details, but I think it's really exciting news.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoy doing this. I think I personally have a really unique story on how I entered the help desk field. I kind of want to elaborate a little bit more onto that. Maybe encourage some other people out there that just don't just aren't feeling confident enough. I want to help everyone, who's trying to enter the field and then move beyond the field. So, I've kind of gone a little bit in my backstory that, yes, I do have a help desk job. It's IT support specialist, but I do a lot more than that in my job field. I do mobile device management, networking engineering. We're, I mean, we're working on building a new property every month, or I'm sorry, every year, and I'm physically helping design these networks. So, I want to share that experience with you guys, share what skills I have and what tools I use to kind of get myself to where I am and help you guys advance your own careers in the field. So I'm
Yep.
really looking forward to it.
I'm really looking forward to it also. And like a lot of the help desk stuff that you would kind of probably normally see on IT career questions. Like I'll still do a lot of that. You'll see a lot of that over there. I mean, not a lot of it, but Dakota will be tackling a lot of it. And then we'll tag team together some different videos and do some stuff. But you guys are really going to hear a lot of his story, a lot of what like he just said. He just went over it, what he's done, how he got there, and then we have the same mission, we have the same thoughts, feelings, that we're here to help people. We want to help you. So for everybody who's out there who's looking to get in IT or looking to expand your career in IT, to move past the help desk or move past the system administrator job even, we want to help share advice that you know we've either experienced ourselves, that we've researched, or that we've talked to other professionals about. Because excuse me, one of the big things that I always talk about and that I like to do is bring other experts on this channel to talk about their experiences and their advice that they can give to you guys as well. So it's all about helping people, and that's why I'm really excited to bring Dakota on, because he shares those same feelings. So stay tuned
Absolutely.
for that. So it'll be a
Yeah,
completely brand new channel, be associated with IT career questions, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun and exciting.
absolutely. No, I'm super pumped up about it. So.
I think we'll have to start. I don't know if we'll talk. Never mind. We'll talk about that part later.
All right.
It was about the A plus stuff, but we'll talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Frankie, you are very, very welcome. Dana says, people skills, people skills, people skills. And I could
Oh.
not, I completely agree 100%. I couldn't say that any better, even though I did say it and you didn't, because I'm talking and you're typing. But yes, people
uh,
skills, that is like one of the most valuable pieces of getting into IT, and really helping with your career in general.
I can honestly say I would not be where I am today in my career if I didn't have good people skills. I mean, that is just a must. And I want to do like a whole series and open up to some Q&A and try to get some advice, because people skills are so critical in the job field nowadays. That's really what's going to help you succeed in your career. Really, that's your most important skill, I think. Yes, you do need the tech knowledge, but your people skills, if you have good people skills, you're going to just excel.
For sure.
Everyone's going to watch you.
For sure. Blue Jay asks, will I earn more money in the IT field a few years down the line if I have certs, experience, and a degree versus just certs and experience? So, when
Oh,
it comes to down the line, when you're always talking, when you're thinking down the line, which is great, it at some point it almost does not matter. The only thing is that a degree will always open up more doors, as we're talking right now, like right this very second. A degree would open up more doors for you. However, with that being said, there are a lot of companies dropping degree requirements for IT jobs.
I think we
That
just
is
talked about
something,
that last week.
yeah, I mean, that's something to look at. That's something to pay attention to. I mean, when companies like Google and Apple and stuff are dropping their degree requirements for IT roles, that's huge. Like, that is huge. So at that point, when you're looking at it, your experience and your certifications are going to be just as valuable as a degree, if not more valuable.
Right. And like personally, like my personal advice is if you're already in the field and you don't have a degree yet, I don't necessarily know if I could personally recommend going and getting a degree. I would personally recommend going and just continuing your certifications and expanding your knowledge. So have your on the job experience and your certifications to back you up. I mean, like you said, Zach, a degree is always great, and there's some employers that still will require it forever. But you'll get to a point in your career where people would rather you know and have that piece of paper, that certification saying that you're an expert in that topic than actually a general degree.
For sure. SJS USA, I just did a video a couple weeks ago, now at this point, maybe even closer to a month ago, about, excuse me, getting into cybersecurity. So I would definitely go back through the videos that I put out. It should be within like the last 10 videos about getting into cybersecurity. That would be a great video to watch. But Dana also like answers that in another way also. But the video that I have out kind of goes into more detail, so you might get more information out of that. So definitely go check that out if you're interested in cybersecurity.
You're still going to need your fundamentals if you don't have any experience in the IT field. I still recommend kind of going off your too, just kind of like Dana was saying.
Yeah, and one of the things that I've been talking to a lot of people in security lately, because I have a lot of focus in that, and I have a lot of interest in that, and every single one of them says, you know, go through the fundamentals of these different technologies before you even consider security. Like you could have security in the back of your mind, you can think that that's a goal, but make sure you go through those fundamentals because it's greatly going to help you.
Absolutely. I think a lot of people security is probably an end goal for a lot of people, but you have to work your way there. You
For
know.
sure. Dana wants me to assure you listeners that anything they study now for the 901 902 is not a waste of time because 85% of the material will be the exact same. So
Absolutely.
study everything for the 901 902 right now. If you're in the process of studying for the 901 902, don't stop just because the new cert is coming out in January. Keep studying because you have until June of next year to take the 901 and 902. Um, and then um, even still, you should be able to go once Professor Messer starts putting out new videos on the A plus. You should be able to cherry pick the new stuff that's going to be in the new A plus certification exam. So, don't stop what you're doing just because a new one's coming out. You can still go take the 901 902. You could still study for it. It's still a lot of that information is still useful. So
Yeah.
there you go, Dana. Let me go through some of these comments here because there's a lot. Contemplative Inquirer says, so the book I got is about useless. If you're talking about the A plus book, then no, it's not useless. It's still relative. Um, Steve-O says, to me, IT is more of a trade, not necessarily something that should require a 4-year degree, in your opinion. I could definitely agree with that, except for there's so many businesses out there that require you have a degree to get in that management level.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, when I was interviewing for the process, I was flat out told we will not consider you because you don't have a degree.
Yep.
Yeah, we think you could do the job. We think you have the skills, but you don't have a degree.
Yep.
So you'll always run into that. Always.
Well, maybe not
Not
always.
not always, but
Right.
you'll
No.
still get the occasional, I should say.
Right.
You
Yeah, right now you'll definitely run into that. I would imagine within the next few years you'll probably run into that a lot. Maybe even less than the next few years if Google
yeah,
and Apple and like those type of companies really start pushing the fact that they don't care one way or another if you have a degree or not. If more businesses start um, adapting that thought process, that'll be great. I could tell you that the hospital that I worked at, the sysadmins that work there have no degrees, certifications. Um, I've worked in many places where people don't have degrees, and everything is great.
yeah.
Let me see. There's a few comments that I really want to talk about one that I just saw, and I'll hit that one up here. Rodrigo, congratulations on passing your 901. That's awesome, and good luck on your 902. And then Steve-O said, any update on the video about the wild range and pay? Yes, I was working on that today, just putting stuff together for it. So I'm not sure when it'll be out. I really want to make sure that that I take the time to do that video, because I don't want my emotions to flare through a lot in that video. Serious. What about more people are failing drug tests nowadays in corporate America? My thoughts. I really don't want to get into a drug debate. You know, I guess I don't care one way or another, but that's just my opinion. So, I mean, especially when it comes to reefer, like that's just the stupidest thing in the entire world. Like, just legalize it, and who cares whether you do it or not? It's just like drinking alcohol. I feel like it's probably safer than drinking alcohol. Again, that's just my opinion. But if you're into harder drugs, then I don't know, whatever. I have nothing to say about that, because it's a life that I know nothing about. Would you ever have a Cloud Plus session? Maybe talk about careers in that field? Yeah, I think at some point, depending on how things go with CompTIA or with the A Plus, Security Plus, we can definitely figure that out. Dark Crypto says CompTIA is a joke. Go straight for the CCNA, and that is the worst comment that I've seen all night. Congratulations, because that is completely false.
Yeah.
Definitely do not go straight for the CCNA, because the CCNA, the only thing that CCNA will tell anybody is that you know something about networking. And there are jobs out there that require the CCNA, but I wouldn't suggest just getting your CCNA and expecting to get a job in networking, for instance, because that's very, very unlikely. If you have no prior experience or other certifications, no.
Yeah.
The CompTIA certifications are some of the best entry-level certifications that you can get. They are the best entry-level certifications that you can get, hands down. And there are jobs that specifically require you get CompTIA certifications, meaning you could have a CCNA and you're still not going to get the job because you don't have a CompTIA certification. You know, there's over 8,000 jobs that require CompTIA certifications. So if you think about that could tell you a lot of things right there. And also, the U.S. government requires you have CompTIA certifications. So
That gotta tell you something right there.
definitely, definitely. So yeah, CCNA is a great certification. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and if you want to go the networking path, sure, go get that. But you still need your fundamentals. You still need to show, if especially if you have no certifications or no experience even, you need to show you have that knowledge. So go get your A plus. And then if you really, really want to go for networking, then go get your CCENT and your CCNA and so on. But still go get your fundamentals because you're gonna still need that knowledge.
Yep. Are you kidding me? CCENT part of CCENT that is identical to CompTIA A plus. Sure, but it's still a CCENT and it's not an A plus. There are no like entry level jobs require an A plus, because it's become somewhat of a standard. It's become somewhat of something that shows you the fundamentals of many different technologies, whereas a CCENT is only going to specifically teach you about networking, which means absolutely
Cisco
jack
networking.
and a help,
Cisco
yeah,
networking.
and Cisco networking at that,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
that doesn't do anything for somebody who wants to get in the help desk. Whereas an A plus will teach you the fundamentals, some of the fundamentals of networking. The Network Plus definitely would show you more. The A plus is more valuable than the CCENT at an entry level job position, hands down.
Right.
And
Because there's plenty of
I could tell you all day long what my thoughts, feelings are on this. But if you go on Indeed.com, Monster.com, wherever, and you search for these certifications, the proof is right there. Those are the facts.
right. And what? So you go get your
no,
CCNA and then enter a shop that uses not they don't use Cisco equipment. They use another brand.
they use
Yes,
HP
some of the
switches. They use some
HP
curves.
switches. Exactly. Then you're starting all over again. Does not very little of that knowledge will apply to
CCENT teaches you the fundamentals of networking. That's
yeah.
it. A plus teaches you fundamentals of many technologies. There's a big difference. I mean, there's a huge difference. I don't really want to argue with you anymore, or tell you one way or another. The facts are all on the interwebs, and you can learn if you research. But yes, I mean, I've worked a few jobs where I had absolutely nothing to do with networking at all. We had networking, networking team that took care of that. So a CCENT or a CCNA would have done absolutely nothing for me to get a job at that location, especially when they already have a networking team. So yeah, CCENT would be equivalent to the Network Plus. I would say equivalent. They each have their own things.
But your Net Plus is more vendor neutral, so
Right.
you know,
But I
if
mean,
you're planning
everybody's
on,
pretty much Cisco based anyway nowadays.
yeah,
Cisco kind of rules the world there.
if
Ryan
you,
asked earlier on, is the extensive knowledge of the hardware components something to specialize in? I would not say it's something to specialize in.
no, I think those days are pretty well long gone.
Yep. And then Dana said a fun fact: if you want to get into security, you must be able to write reports and proposals, which is a very, very valuable asset right there. And documentation. There's a lot of communication involved in security. What X-Ray asks when the next live stream is. We'll have another live stream. What next Wednesday?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's keep it going. If everyone likes it, I say we do another one next.
Yeah, every Wednesday. I'm good with that. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
next Wednesday might
Same
be
time.
sketchy
Yep.
just because we're moving, but I will try to make something happen. I might have to do like a live stream from an empty garage or something. Wait, next Wednesday is Halloween, so
Ooh.
I think we should still be able to do it. I,
Yeah.
well, we might have to do it at a later time because of you, where you're
Yeah.
located,
We'll work out the details and make sure and keep everyone informed.
for sure. And then somebody put next Wednesday is Halloween costume party. So yeah, maybe Larry. I think Larry will
Larry,
do the entire live stream.
but I'm down for that.
Ah, that would be fun.
I need more of his opinion on the iPhone X.
You don't want any more of his opinion. That's garbage. His opinion is garbage.
Uh,
It's great because it has an apple. That was the high. It's so sad because I recorded that and I edited it, and like the whole time I'm like going through the edit
oh,
process, like I'm laughing at myself. I'm like,
yeah.
oh my gosh, I'm such an idiot. This is so funny. I'm so stupid. And then like I edit it and I export it and then I watch it again. So I watched it in full this time, and I'm just like dying laughing. I'm like, oh my god, this is hilarious. Let's see. China hacked. So there's always hacking involved in China. Maybe I missed something. I'm not up to date today.
Uh,
Actually, I haven't been up to date in the last couple days. I've been kind of behind
I
on
was
my
gonna say
readings.
that's kind of old news though, because I remember reading something about like the chipset that was. Yeah, it was actually I think Security Weekly covered that actually.
Yeah,
Like,
I know that there's the hack with or one of the some components that China was sending out had like some backdoor or some nonsense or something.
yeah. So that's
Uh,
old news.
so when Dana teaches Cisco, he doesn't teach things like setting up a firewall, making cables, etc. Where I believe the Network Plus comes into play there. Would you say after gaining an A plus cert, you should begin to find a specialization? It depends on if you're in the field or not, Ryan. So the great thing about the A plus is it really helps you get those an entry level job. It can help you definitely in the future just because you have that certification. It's a great certification. But I don't ever recommend or tell people to start specializing right away. Get your foot in the door and learn and explore what an enterprise business is like, and start asking questions to the people on your networking team, on your development team, your sysadmins, security team if they have it, and see what their day-to-day looks like, see some of the different duties and things that they do, and from there you can really start to form a better um, opinion on what you think might work best for you. Because right now, if you have no experience in the field and you say, I want to be a sysadmin. Like, that's the route that I'm going to take. And you go through all the different certifications and learning and things like that to become a sysadmin. And then one day you finally become a sysadmin. You're like, all right, all this hard work that I did to become a sysadmin finally paid off. And now I'm the system administrator, and I hate it. I hate system administration. I wish I would have went with networking. Well, the cool thing about getting into IT and getting your foot in the door, starting out at the help desk, is that you get thrown everything at you. So it could be networking, sysadmin stuff, security type of stuff. Whatever the case is, you're going to get a lot of that stuff thrown at you, and then you can work with the other people on your team to understand what they are doing and really form, again, that opinion on what you think might work best for you. So don't specialize too soon. There are, I think, a lot of different certifications that you could go after that wouldn't necessarily mean you're specializing, but it just gives you a broader value. Like going to get like AWS certs or cloud certs and things like that. Those I think could be beneficial across the board.
Yeah, and what I'd like to add to that is you're saying, get your foot in the door and get that, initial job, and then start asking, your networking team and stuff. Not only does that give you a better idea of what you want to do and what you enjoy, but your team will also recognize that, hey, this guy's taking the initiative. Hey, he's coming in on the weekend to help with this network upgrade. And when that next job opens, you know who the first person they're going to think of is? They're going to think of you. Like, hey, you've already been involved in this. Hey, are you interested in, we would like to promote you into this position. So not only are you getting experience and exposure to the field, that trade, but also you're getting, people are seeing that you're taking this initiative, and you're going to stick out that much more in their mind when the next job opening comes up.
For sure. Steve-O said, you watched the Linus Tech Tips video on the iPhone. When it first came out, he bashed it, but then he did a retake and made some good points. I haven't watched that video. I'll actually go check that out because I'd be really interested in hearing it. The biggest thing that I could take away from my experience with the iPhone is it's exactly like every other iPhone I've ever used in my entire life. So it's not exciting. There's nothing new to it. It's nothing that's like innovating for me. It did not function the way that I was hoping it would, and I just don't like it. I really, really don't. I just don't like iOS. I think it just simply comes down to that. I am not a fan of iOS. However, I am a fan of MacBooks. I love this MacBook. Like, I wouldn't trade it for the entire world. So, I mean, I like Apple. I just don't like their iOS products. Anything that has iOS on it can just go, I don't know, dig itself a hole and bury itself under a rock. I don't care what they do with iOS stuff. But that's just my opinion. If you like iOS, that's great. If it works for you, fantastic. Keep using it, keep loving it, and go about your day. I'm going to keep going about my day with this fancy, sick new Note 9 thing because I love it. I'm so glad you got. Yes, he knows what's up. I'm so glad I didn't go with the Pixel 3. I've been reading like so many more terrible reviews on that. I'm like, I dodged a bullet on that one, suckers. Sorry. If you got the Pixel 3, I'm sorry. Let's see. Sid 17, since the 91902 are expiring soon, does it make sense to still write those exams? And then write, though, 2001, a couple years after since the cert expires. I'd have to reread that question when I have more time because there's so many questions. Hang on. I'll come back to that. Yeah, if you rely on a test bank or like a brain dump, for instance, to pass an exam, you're absolutely useless. 100% useless.
Yeah. All you've proven is that you can take a test.
Dana says, I started with A plus less than 20 years later. Life has really taken some turns. You never know where you will end up. So here's a guy who started with A plus, and now he's working for Test Out. So
That's
I mean,
awesome.
that's a great story. Like that, that's such a good story. It's crazy. There's no A plus cert course that I am promoting. You guys can go study the A plus on through CompTIA. You study the A plus through IT Pro TV, through Skillsoft, CBT Nuggets. You can go study for
Pluralsight.
the A plus wherever you want. I don't really care one way or another. As long as you are studying for it and you're trying to pass it, that's what's important. Use whatever resource you'd like. Just don't brain
Yeah.
dump it.
Yeah. Use us. Heck, we supplement your knowledge with these study groups.
For sure. Let's see. Ryan says very good advice. Thank you. Another question: how important is it to be able to code in IT? So coding, I believe, is going to get more and more important. Um, whether you're looking down that sysadmin networking route, there's parts of coding that are going to be very, very important. Sysadmin, for instance, learning PowerShell, or even learning Python. Python can be used across the board. So yeah, I wouldn't say you need to be an expert by any means. There's a lot of fundamentals of coding that you can learn and understand. Oh my
I
gosh.
I use PowerShell on a daily basis. I'll tell you that. I
Yep.
love me some PowerShell. Makes your job so much easier.
What are my thoughts on AWS? I think AWS is great. It's a great resource. Oh my gosh, there's so many. Nothing is hard about the A plus. Well,
Oh,
I mean, I would say that is completely wrong. That is just your opinion. There are going to be plenty of people who find the A plus difficult. There are plenty of people who have failed the A plus numerous times before they could pass it because it can be difficult for some people. Um, so there's that.
yeah.
Steve says, but what phone is really different nowadays? Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, especially when it comes to Android, like they're all relatively similar, just like the iPhone.
Windows phones.
Get out with Windows phones. Don't talk about Windows phones. Bad as BlackBerry. Rodrigo on the 901 hated the questions about printer parts. He always forgot the names of the parts and which ones
Oh,
have to be replaced to fix the problem. Yeah, printers are freaking terrible. And greetings
maintenance
from
kit.
Rio de Janeiro. What's going on in Brazil? What's up? That's awesome. It's all about iMessage. Once you get it, it's hard to get rid of. I got rid of it in a heartbeat. The cool thing, which I mentioned in the video, was that the way that the Apple syncing and stuff works. So iMessage, yes, is very, very cool because I was able to iMessage from my computer, which made it very, very nice. However, Android, you can do the same thing now via the web. So I don't care about iMessage anymore because of that. You just go to messages dot android.com or whatever the heck it is. I forget the URL for that. But yeah, so I can message from the web as well. Uh, Kev runs on Nuggins. Shout out to anyone with locked out iPads because someone decided to put in some iCloud account without telling anyone the password. I hate that.
Oh,
It is the worst. That ruins my day. Every single time I run across that, I get, oh God, I hate that. I feel
no,
your pain on
no,
that, Kev.
no. I feel it too. No,
Oh
I don't.
God,
Yeah.
I so hate that. Skating gonna take their 8 plus soon, and they're gonna take it high ASF. Good luck with that.
Well, whatever works for you. However, you
I,
got to pass the exam.
I'm sure there are people who could do that. Let's see. Justin interviewing for system technician role. Any tips for any interview? Also, what's better, CompTIA or Cisco certification? So good luck in your interview, first of all. And comparing those two, like comparing CompTIA to Cisco is like two different worlds. Um, CompTIA is all vendor neutral, very great for entry level stuff. Even some of the more advanced stuff, like the Pen Test Plus, that's a great certification that is more of an advanced certification, or the CISA. Um, those are more, I would say, advanced certifications, and their line when you look at it. but Cisco's all networking. So unless you plan on being in networking, then or if you
Yeah.
plan on being in networking, go down that Cisco route. That's fine. If you don't plan on being going down that networking route, the Cisco certifications, I wouldn't say are completely useless. They can still help you in your career, um, but they might not be as helpful to you in your career path initially.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely aim like for like a system tech job. Probably, I'd say your CompTIA line would be a lot more, you know, a lot more useful of a path to go. But I mean, if you still have an interest in networking, take some Cisco exams, and once you get into that employer, see if there's maybe room for advancement.
Right. Um, where is this question at? Ryan said that they've heard the term brain dump before. What does that mean exactly? So a brain dump would really consist of, you the day before, the day of you taking the exam, you can. I don't really want to give up way too much information on that, but let's just say that you can go find the answers to all the questions, essentially, and then you just go over that. You go over every single question and the answer. So you essentially dump all of that information into your head right before you go in and take that test. There are a lot of people that do that, unfortunately. It's not suggested by any means.
Well, because when you finally do land that job, you won't be able to retain any of that knowledge.
Right.
So you might have the certification, but you don't have the knowledge to back it up, and you'll just fail in your career.
Um, X-Ray said, "Yo, why are there 38 people watching and only 18 hit the like button? I don't know. You hit the dislike button if you want. I mean, that's cool too. But if you hit the dislike button, at least let me know why, so that we can try to make improvements, because that's important. Constructive criticism, if you will.
Yeah, I wouldn't have liked it. I like the video.
I'm gonna thumbs down it.
All right, what's your constructive criticism? I just want you to put it out there.
What's my constructive criticism?
Yeah, you're
I
gonna
could
thumbs
stop
down it.
coughing, and
Oh,
that would be helpful. Ryan says, how important is knowledge of Linux in IT? Going forward, having a fundamental knowledge of Linux is so extremely important. I really highly suggest that anybody, everybody who's looking to get in IT or who's already in IT looking to advance, learn Linux, because it is not going anywhere.
absolutely.
Mythical said, never had an interview before for any job, any advice? Review your resume and apply for everything.
See what employers are asking for. Try to do some research on the companies you're applying for. See if you possibly know anyone who works for the company and talk to them. That can help as well.
Yeah, but
All stuff I want to cover with the new channel.
awesome. And Linux is important for any role. I mean, there are many jobs out there, even at entry level, Mr. Crypto, that could benefit from learning Linux. And I'm not going to say it's required that you learn Linux. It's just highly suggested that you learn Linux.
Oh, absolutely. Man, I love it. The questions keep pouring in. Keep them coming.
Don't they retrain you on the majority of jobs? Anyway, yeah. So, and that's like the one thing I talk about a lot too when getting like an entry level job. It's great to get an entry level job. It's great to get another entry level job or maybe some type of advancement, like a small advancement. So you start out as help desk, then you move your way to like a level 1 tech or something like that. But switching jobs, I think, is so valuable in this field because it's going to teach you a lot. Every single enterprise business that exists today, even if they have the same servers, right? They're running all the same type of servers and applications and things like that. The way that these businesses operate are going to be completely different from one another. So learning how an enterprise works is so important. But yeah, any job that you go to, they should be training you how they do things. So when you start out at one organization, they're going to train you how they do things there. You move on to your next organization that you start working for, and again, this could be the organization that is basically an exact clone as far as their hardware, servers, applications go, and they're going to train you how they do things there. It could be completely different. You guys don't have to hit the like button. It's cool. I was just joking about that. Is the LPIC 1 worth it to get into Red Hat? Yeah. What exactly should you learn in Linux? The terminal bash script, can you share a little detail if possible? Yeah, so I think fundamentals of Linux. So understanding what the terminal is and understanding how to create bash scripts and things like that, I think that could fall in line under those fundamentals. Um, Adding users, changing rights to different directories and things like that within Linux. But I think the most important thing about learning Linux at that fundamental level is just kind of getting into it and understanding what some of the different GUIs look like, and then of course learning some of those things about just the basic levels of the terminal. You know, changing directories, moving folders, moving files, and things like that. Those are some of the fundamentals that you can learn that would be helpful. You know, a lot of the stuff that you could learn at that fundamental level that I just talked about, creating users, changing their rights, changing folder rights, moving folders, moving files, and things like that. A lot of that stuff is some of the same stuff that you would do at a help desk job in a Windows environment. So just having some of that knowledge, again, would just be helpful. And if you have that knowledge and you find yourself applying for a job that wants you to have some Linux experience, if you could put on your resume that you've, you know, gone over a course or two on Linux, or maybe you got like your Linux Plus, your Linux Essentials certification or something like that. You know, they're going to teach you everything. If you land that job, they're going to teach you everything that you need to know about Linux within their environment, or everything that they want you to know about Linux within their environment. So, and that's, again, we're just talking about that entry level type of status there. X-Ray asks, so the A plus can get you an entry level job. I think that's what you meant to say. But yes, the A plus can definitely help you get an entry level job.
Yep.
No doubt about it. Steve-O just installed the VM of Linux on Monday to mess with, which is awesome. Which distro did you go with, Steve-O? I missed a question here. Ryan said, what would you say the most important thing for being successful in IT in terms of pure technical knowledge skills? Man, that's a hard question, because your version of success could be completely different from my version of success. Um, I wouldn't necessarily say that there's one specific thing that you should know, and there's one specific technology for you to focus on. There's no way for me to answer that. Technology changes every single day, as you know. So,
Different jobs are going to be dealing with different technology.
yeah. So the most important thing for being successful is to always be learning. That's it. That is the number one bit of advice that I can give you about being successful, is keep learning no matter what. Don't stop. The moment that you stop learning in IT is the moment that you fall behind, and you basically have like worked yourself out of a job because you didn't put in the work to advance yourself within that job. If that makes sense. RXM puts Mint Cinnamon on an old laptop, but heard Kali would be better for learning Linux. What's your take? So Kali is a distro that's really built for pen testers, essentially. I would not say that Kali is at all advised for people learning Linux. It's completely different from a lot of the different distros that are out there, and a lot of the things that come preloaded within Kali are specifically put there for some type of pen testing, or ethical hacker type of stuff, if you will. So yeah, Kali is definitely not advised for learning initially. Dana, the tech teacher, always has great advice, so make sure you guys pay attention to the stuff that he talks about as well. Niso says, "Big guy, are there a few are there few desk support jobs one can work remotely?" There are a few jobs, yeah. There's not very many, but they do exist.
Yeah, most of your help desk job, your entry level jobs, eventually you'll find yourself doing kind of a mix of that. Because I work a lot from home, um, but I still go into the office eight to five. But you'll find out as you progress in your job role, you'll be working from home in the after hours as well. So
Right. Derek says, what career paths would the A plus be the least useful in? Um, Probably, I would say, well, even a lot of times, sometimes like for developers and things like that, an A plus could be useful to just have that fundamental knowledge of how some of the apps and things that they are building, like the different technologies that that work together when you're producing apps and things like that. Um, so I would even say that the coders and things like that, the A plus is useful for them. So that would be the only thing where I was kind of hesitant on answering. But otherwise, like I think the A plus can be useful for everybody in IT. Again, it's that fundamental knowledge of many technologies. So yeah, and then even Dana says even programmers can use A plus, which
yeah,
yeah, exactly. X-Ray likes all the tools in Kali because they're fun. Yeah, they are fun, but when you're just learning Linux, um, and you're playing with the programs, you're not learning Linux. You're just learning these different tools that come installed on Kali. Oh, they're adding some scripting in the new A plus objective: simple, Bash, and PowerShell. That's
that's
cool.
awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah, Kev runs on Duncan. That's good advice too. You don't always have to go get the cert. Just studying for it is helpful. Because when you're studying for certifications, just because you're not getting the certifications, I mean, yeah, you don't have that cert, you don't have the piece of paper that says you know what you're doing, but I mean, if you went through an entire course, like you have that knowledge, or you have a lot of that knowledge. Um, so there's that. But anyway, is there anything else that you want to add, Dakota? Because we've been going on an hour and 45 minutes. I think I'm good on my end.
I think I'm pretty well good on my end. If anyone has some last minute questions they want to squeeze in, I think we've covered quite a bit today. Again, next week, I think next Wednesday we'll do another study group, possibly a little bit later in the evening.
Yeah, we'll
Uh,
figure that out.
yeah, we'll figure it out and put it out there. But yeah, I'm just glad to be here. I think we've covered a lot of material today.
For sure. I'm happy to have you here. I'm glad we did this tonight, and for all you guys out there, if you guys are interested in checking out the next session, we'll be doing it Wednesday, and again, we'll be doing a Security Plus study group soon. So um, stay tuned for that as well. But thank you guys for joining the live stream tonight. Really do appreciate that. Thank you, Dakota, for being here. That's all we got for tonight. So
Awesome.
take it easy. Stay tuned.
Have a good night, everyone.
Take care.